Dear participants, honorable speakers, let me welcome you to the webinar that will be focused on introduction on how to enter and what are the possibilities of the East African markets, namely Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, and Tanzania. My name is Adam Čuka. I'm Deputy Head of the Foreign Trade Department at SARIO agency. And I strongly encourage you to use the Q&A button on the bottom line of your screen so you can actually enter your questions, which we will answer during each individual country introduction. But now, without further hesitation, I would definitely like to ask His Excellency Maroš Mitrík, Ambassador of the Embassy of the Slovak Republic in Nairobi, to welcome you and provide the welcome speech. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As was mentioned, my name is Maroš Mitrík, and I'm the newly appointed, or not that long time ago appointed, ambassador to Kenya, but covering not only Kenya, but 7 other countries in the region, including Uganda, Rwanda, South Sudan, Somalia, Eritrea, Comoros, and Seychelles. It's a great pleasure and honor to welcome you here at today's webinar, which is focused on exploring business opportunities in East Africa. Slovakia is a country with a very strong tradition of innovation, engineering excellence, and high-quality manufacturing. Our entrepreneurs and businessmen are increasingly looking beyond traditional market and seeking new partnerships and opportunities in dynamic regions such as East Africa. The region of East Africa is one of the most promising and fastest growing economic areas on the continent. With a young population, expanding infrastructure, and the growing appetite for technology and sustainable solutions, East Africa offers best place and a very fertile ground for mutually beneficial cooperation. I think that Slovak companies are ready to contribute, but not only with competitive products and services, but also with a genuine interest in long-term partnerships based on trust. However, entering a new market always requires more than just an ambition. It requires knowledge, cultural understanding, and local insight. And that is why I consider today's webinar very valuable. The presence of representatives from Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, and Uganda gives us a unique opportunity to hear directly from our partners, to understand the business environment, regulatory frameworks, practical advice that can help Slovak businessmen make informed decisions. But let's not forget that we are here not to impose solutions today. We are here to listen, to learn, and to build bridges. I think the Slovak Republic sees East Africa not only as a market, but as a strategic partner in shaping a more connected and resilient global economy. Well, in conclusion, let me thank our colleagues from SARIO for organizing the webinar, also all the Slovak colleagues from the EXIMBANKA, and last but not least, my dear colleague sitting just a few rooms from here, Samuel, who will be speaking next. And also thank very much to the partners joining us from different countries. It's very important for us to hear directly from you all the valuable information. And I really do encourage Slovak businesses to engage actively, ask questions, and explore the possibilities that lie ahead. So thank you very much. I wish us all a very fruitful webinar, full of information, and possibly with some potential partnerships in the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your kind words. And as you said yourself, let me pass the word to economic diplomat, Mr. Samuel Čellár. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adam. Thank you very much, Your Excellency Ambassador. I'll be very brief because we have so many interesting speakers I had to speak. But I would say with something that was mentioned by Mr. Ambassador, that East Africa is not the traditional market for Slovak companies. With majority of Slovak companies operating in the area of Europe, East Africa is quite out of that circle, I would say. But what we are seeing in Slovakia is the growing courage and interest of Slovak companies to explore markets out of this part. I would say that with SARIO, we've been not trying, but really working on expanding the cooperation with East Africa for several years already, since 2022, since when we actually organized several trade missions to East Africa. It was Rwanda, Tanzania. We led delegations twice to Kenya, and also we hosted one Kenyan delegation in Slovakia, which was led by the governor of Kilifi County. This is not that much maybe compared to other EU countries, but the fact is that what we saw during these years, during which we were kind of trying to develop these ties, was that the Slovak companies, the interest of Slovak companies was growing. The number of Slovak companies that were participating in the trade missions or that who wished to participate was growing, which only confirms that it's a fact that Slovak companies are interested in this market. And as was mentioned also by His Excellency Ambassador, they are not only interested in export, they are interested in establishing the presence, long-term presence, with also presence by establishing the production facilities in this region, as well as they are interested in the production that's provided by companies from these regions. We are very, very keen and very curious to hear from the institutions that are participating here basically what can they well, our interest is to provide for Slovak companies the information that can be catchy. What can be the interest in Rwanda? What can be the interest in Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania for the Slovak companies? Be it from the side of investment, import, export. Please share this information with Slovak companies. So these numbers are growing. And also I would like to say, as was mentioned at the beginning by Adam, feel free to use the Q&A, and also after the webinar, any company just rest assured that we are here at the Embassy of Slovakia in Nairobi for you. We'll be very happy if you reach out to us with your initiative, with your interest, so we can also be aware in detail of your plans, of your activities and goals. And integrate you into the future activities that we are planning, and there are many ahead, with one of them being the trade mission of Slovak Republic to Uganda and Kenya, which is planned for the March or April of next year, and there will be actually many others. We'll be also hosting Kenya, Rwanda, and Uganda, and hopefully also Tanzania delegations in Slovakia. But what we need is feedback. We need the feedback from Slovak companies, and not only from the companies, but we'll be also very, very happy to be in direct and intense communication with the institutions that are going to speak today. We want to hear from them what are the needs of the countries that they represent, and how can we also integrate our activities, being the companies, or also companies merge with development cooperation to the plans. So I don't want to continue in speaking more. I believe, as I said, that the presentations that are coming are very, very interesting. So I'll end this. So feel free to reach out to our embassy anytime, and we'll be happy to discuss with you any future interactions in East Africa. Thank you.
Thank you, Samuel. I foresee a good future for our mutual future cooperation with East African countries. I really expect many activities happening this and the next year, but what it would be without any guarantees provided, for example, by EXIMBANKY Slovakia when doing such extensive foreign trade activities and operations. And therefore, I would like to kindly ask Matúš Šársky, who is Director of the International Relations of EXIMBANKY, to present some financial instruments to actually make this foreign trade between our countries easier and secure. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we do.
Great. Thank you so much to SARIO and the Slovak Embassy in Kenya for making this happen. Greetings actually from Brussels. I'm very limited by the time because in 15 minutes I'm meeting Euro Commissioner Maroš Šefčovič. So I will be rather brief, and I will try to share my screen and presentation if possible. Is it any visible, please?
We can see the screen, yes.
Great. So yeah, I will not spend much time presenting EXIMBANKY as such. Just in a few sentences, we are official government-owned export credit agency, which is here to solve the main issues which may occur when you as a Slovak exporter are trying to actually effectively do the business with your counterparts in the third countries. We are present on the markets already for more than 27 years. We are present in more than 100 countries, with Africa not very much represented so far. So we believe that the webinars and opportunities like this will greatly contribute to popularization and increasing the attractiveness of this continent for the Slovak exporters. And obviously EXIMBANKY is here to support you, as we already done during the more than 27 years. And we have supported so far more than 60 billion of Slovak exports. At the very simple and a brief way, the portfolio of EXIMBANKY services consists basically of financing and insurance. But what is also very important for you is advisory services. If you have any question, or if you are in a doubt how to structure your deal with a foreign counterpart, just do not hesitate and reach out to us in EXIMBANKY, and we will be more than ready to provide you with a free advice and structure your transaction from financing or insurance perspective. When it comes to portfolio of EXIMBANKY, I'm not going to bore you with the detailed description of all the products. I would rather say that when you do have interaction with your foreign business partner, you are most probably facing three main challenges. First challenge is that you as a Slovak producer is lacking the resources to actually produce what you want to export. That's the first issue. Second issue, that foreign buyer of your goods and services is lacking own resources to actually buy the products from you. So that's the second case. And third case, you as a Slovak exporter, you don't only want to export, but you want to get paid for your export. So there's the third issue which might occur on your way towards international business. What is important for you is that EXIMBANKY can very effectively help you at all those three cases with your business. We can provide you as a Slovak exporter with credit solutions for procurement of some production factors which are dedicated to production of the goods and services for export. And also we can help you to buy the machinery to actually produce the goods and services for the export. On side of the second issue I mentioned, when the foreign buyer is lacking resources, we as a Slovak EXIMBANK or Slovak commercial bank with insurance of EXIMBANK can provide credits to foreign buyer of Slovak goods and services. So it is you, the African buyers, who are becoming clients of EXIMBANKY, and you are receiving credit to procure goods and services from your Slovak counterparts. So that's the solution for the second issue. And the solution for the third issue, if you are a Slovak exporter and you are already exporting to Africa, you want to make sure that you will get paid for your exports, so you can always obtain insurance receivables from EXIMBANKY. What is especially relevant in a development context, which East Africa definitely is a product concessional export credits. Here on this slide, you can see maybe very, very complex definition, but I believe that it's rather comprehensive. So if you are foreign buyer of the Slovak goods and services, you can obtain financing from EXIMBANKA or from commercial bank with insurance of EXIMBANKA under more advantageous conditions. The only condition which is relevant in this case is that on the side of African buyer, it must be foreign public buyer. So in case there are any government agencies, for example, or ministries interested to do business with the Slovak counterparts, and the subject of the business is something which contributes to development of the country, it's definitely eligible for support under this concessional export credit scheme. I will once again, sorry for being maybe fast, but I will ask colleagues from SARIO to share this presentation with you, and you can at any time dive into all the details which are mentioned in the presentation. And in case of any questions specific to this product, just you will find our contact details at the very end of the presentation. I will also very briefly mention delegated management of the EU resources, which is another opportunity how to support and facilitate the cooperation of Slovak businesses with African counterparts. Again, due to time constraints, I don't want to dive into too much details, but basically, if you are interested in exploring the possibilities which the EU delegated funds offer for you as either Slovak exporter or the African buyer, please just do not hesitate to reach out to one of those partners which are visible on the slide. And also you can find, I believe, detailed and comprehensive information about delegated cooperation on the website of EXIMBANKA. If I may summarize, like two main forms of the support under the EU delegated cooperation, and this is especially relevant for the African partners, you can obtain repayable loan from EXIMBANKA with guarantee from European Commission for the project, or you can obtain a blended finance package which consists of repayable loan of EXIMBANKA and maybe grant resources channeled to you via Slovak Aid. So again, everything is, I believe, clearly mentioned in the presentation which will be shared for you. What is important that the region of the Sub-Saharan Africa is basically covered in eligible territories for this kind of support. So please do not hesitate to reach out. Those are the preferred sectors or the preferred subjects of the projects. And last but not least, in case that you as a Slovak exporter are interested to obtain timely information about public procurement and tenders which are available also in the region of the Eastern Africa, please do not hesitate to use online database of the whole tenders worldwide, which are available on website of EXIMBANKA. You just fill very simple form of your preferred regions, preferred sectors, and you will regularly receive updates about new open tender possibilities which you may use. So with this, I thank you for your attention. And in case there are any follow-up questions, please do not hesitate to address them in a chat or just reach out to me or one of the colleagues which are staying online while I'm saying goodbye because in 6 minutes I'm meeting Commissioner. So thank you so much for your attention and looking forward to cooperation with you.
Thank you, Matúš, for the introduction of the instruments. As you said, we will share the presentation afterwards to all of our participants and wish you good luck. Now we are about to move to the first country introduction, which is Kenya. And therefore, I would like to give the word to Mrs. Valerie Rugene, Deputy Head of Mission of the Republic of Kenya to Vienna, please.
Thank you very much for having me. Good afternoon, colleagues. As you heard, my name is Valerie Rugene. I sit at the Embassy of Kenya in Vienna with accreditation to Slovakia, which is only 45 minutes away from here, so it's just next door. So it's nice to see everybody. Ambassador Marosh, I'm happy to see you. I've not seen you in person since you moved to Nairobi, but I can already see the results. Yeah, I can see you're happy and glowing, and yeah, nice to see you. Now, I first want to thank you for convening this webinar. I think it's a very important conversation that is taking place. And also very timely. Timely because, as you all know, Africa is a future of the world, and we know with statistics that in the year 2050, a quarter of the world will be living in Africa. And so this conversation, I think, is very critical, and I must commend the Slovaks because since we began working together, I have seen a lot of interest by the Slovak companies. It's like someone just opened a new discovery for them that we can actually do business in Africa. But also I've seen a lot of collaboration, a lot of willingness to actually invest in Africa, and I can say also invest in Kenya. So I want to encourage us to carry on with this. I don't want to go into the details of why Kenya, because I see my colleague who I have to look for after this from KEPSA, the chairman of the economic diplomacy at KEPSA. I'm sure we'll be telling you exactly why East Africa and why Kenya as well. But from where I sit and where we sit, I just want to assure all the participants, and I like EXIMBANK a lot because we had a wonderful function back there in Bratislava with a focus on Africa. So thank you for that presentation. Yeah, but we are here to assure you of our support and to support the businessmen in linking them with the relevant government institutions, the Chamber of Commerce, private sector players in Kenya and also in East Africa. I also want to mention our ongoing collaborations with Bratislava. Soon we'll be having a coffee cupping event in Bratislava this year, at the end of the year. And the whole idea will be to market the Kenyan coffee as well as give the Slovak businessmen opportunities for them to look into that sector of agriculture and in the sector of machinery, the sector of fertilizer, etc. So we remain at the embassy very, very open to facilitate those kind of collaborations, both virtually and physically. We can only do what's possible. Yeah. And also, just to reaffirm that when we continue like this, we will continue building strong economic ties with Slovakia, and this will extend to the entire East Africa and even the Central African region. And so in closing, I just want to invite the Slovak companies to continue taking proactive steps in engaging with opportunities presented in East Africa. And again, we at the embassy here remain very open. So thank you very much. I look forward to continuing this webinar with a targeted follow-up, business to business, and please remind the businessmen in Bratislava that we are here open and ready to engage with them. Asante sana, thank you very, very, very much.
Thank you, Valerie, especially for expressing your support. And we see that there is a potential on the way ahead how to enhance our relations. And also, as you said, we can also move to more concrete introductions. Why actually Kenya? So therefore, I would like to give the word to representation of Eurochem Kenya, concretely Mr. João Ramos, Chair of the Portuguese Business Council, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is João Ramos. I'm the chair of the Portuguese Business Council, but that is only one of my hats that I wear. I'm a business person, and I've been involved in many businesses in East Africa, and specifically in Kenya, where I've been for the past almost 10 years. But first, I would like to share just a quick presentation about the newly formed Eurochem. Not to dive too much, but the idea of Eurochem was to create one voice for European chambers in Kenya, create a platform to network, to also express the difficulties and issues that companies have in country, and also give a first line of action for companies to develop changes in the reality of business in Kenya specifically. This is just some of the reasons why we would invite not only European companies but even Kenyan companies to join us and to grow our community, to create a bigger voice in the country and develop a business environment in Kenya. Just to give a final idea on this for all the companies from Slovakia that are here, and coming also from a small country like Portugal, Slovakia also has sometimes difficulty in terms of presence in most of the countries, and that was one of the reasons why we created Portuguese Business Council. You're more than welcome to join us as well, but this summarize a little bit the possibilities to become a member. You can become a member overseas, so you would be able to get detailed information, market intel, and help also for a soft landing in the market as an overseas membership. And when you become a Kenyan company registered, that I believe it's the idea for many of you, and why we are pushing for you to also see the region as a good region to invest, you will have definitely an organization that can support you and can give you some intel along the way. So if this presentation is shared with the organizers, so you can always get more information through them. I would like to also make some notes about my experience as well for all of you that are looking to come to Kenya or to the region. As I mentioned, I've been in Kenya for 10 years. In Africa for almost 15, and I took some notes from His Excellency Ambassador here from Slovakia, mentioning that a lot of the companies from your end are especially highlighted the engineering part, the tech, innovation. There is a big, for innovation specifically, big gap on innovation and companies that can support innovation. There's a funding gap in this sector, and I think it could be definitely a great support for the region. East Africa and all the countries in East Africa have amazing universities that lack the funding, lack the partnerships many times. So it could be definitely a great point to take from and to search, having, as I mentioned, great universities here, very well organized and doing a very good work. Also, to give more in terms of my experience, I believe in the region, in Africa in general, there's three main sectors where investment is really being focused, and being tech, of course, one of what His Excellency Ambassador mentioned, energy and agriculture. So these three sectors are indeed the sectors where most of funding and big need for investment is being seen. Me personally, even though I'm a civil engineer and specialize in infrastructure, I'm now shifting more and more to agriculture. It's definitely a sector that has a lot of potentiality, specifically in Kenya and in the region, because we are looking at projects all over the region. So there are a lot of difficulties, indeed, in all these sectors. But with partners like Eurocham in Kenya, or even in Rwanda, as Joanna will talk later, definitely there are a lot of knowledge, a lot of change of experience that can be searched, and opportunities. And just to mention a final one that is, I really believe in Kenya specifically, and sorry for all the other countries, but it's the most experience that I have. In Kenya specifically, there is a large number of very well educated, very well trained workforce that can be accessed, and partners that you can trust and can develop your businesses. Just to finally conclude, as Samuel Čellár mentioned, the part of exporting and expecting a new market to just receive your products is shifting, not only in East Africa but in Africa in general. Governments are giving more support for new companies to settle in, to create, invest in production. As I mentioned, there is very capable workforce. There is support from local governments, and there is a market that in conjunction over 300 million people. So with a geographic position that is close to markets like Middle East, much closer to Asia. So geographically and financially and in terms of support, it is a region that is very interesting, and you can definitely look for the partners for the soft landing that is necessary as well. So I think I conclude. Thank you.
Thank you, João. I'm really thankful for sharing your personal insights and experience. And as we continue with Kenya further, in the meantime, I would like to really encourage our attendees to use the Q&A button so you can add your questions and we will answer them after the next presentation on Kenya, which will be provided by institution Kenya Private Sector Alliance, namely Mr. James Muro, Chairman of Economic Diplomacy, please.
Thank you all. I'm actually calling in from the United States. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, but I'm happy to share my thoughts as the chair of the micro. First of all, as the chair of the Economic Diplomacy Committee of the Kenya Private Sector, and also I wear another hat as the chairman of the Micro and Small Enterprises Authority of Kenya. Just before I start my presentation, I want to thank Valerie for her short input and just laying the sort of framework. And I would like to just also intervene a bit on the presentation by the EXIMBANKA. Mr. Matu says they encourage supporting and funding the public sector related projects or programs. And I dare say, public sector doesn't do much business. I think it's the private sector that does business with the private sector. So I don't know whether that can be remodeled a bit to accommodate the private sector participation. João has spoken well about the Eurocharm. And you're right, if you concentrate more on food security in the region, because that's really where I see a lot of conflicts in Africa have charmed up out of lack of adequate food rather than any other thing. So food is really becoming a big issue, and as you all are aware, arable land is becoming more and more scarce as more and more people use that land to build houses and other infrastructure development without caring about food. And sooner or later, we will have a crisis around the world. So it's important that we lay a lot of emphasis on food security and grow enough food for us and for the rest of the world. But allow me to just go quickly through a presentation about why, quickly what KEPSA does. KEPSA is the apex body in Kenya that represents the private sector and really over 500,000 businesses. And our mandate is to create a competitive and enabling environment, which we have continuously pushed the government to make sure they keep scaling up. And so we have done quite well in terms of ease of doing business and trying to keep the government checked in terms of making sure that we have an enabled atmosphere to do business, whether it's inbound or outbound business. We have the correct infrastructure to do so. And now, if you go back, if we ask ourselves, then why are we talking about this particular country and the environment that we have? And I think I can tell you without a shadow of doubt that Kenya can proudly call itself the economic, commercial, and financial hub of East Africa. We have a fairly well-developed commercial infrastructure that supports businesses reasonably well. Why do I say this about Kenya? First of all, let me say the geographical location of the country itself presents a very appropriate business environment, because from Nairobi, we are like 5 hours in any direction of the major capitals of Africa, whether you look at West Africa, North Africa, South Africa, we are in any direction maximum 5.5 hours to any major capital city of the African continent, which positions us very strategically. The second thing is we also have a good infrastructure. We have the world-class port, we have the rail, and we also have the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport that covers very many destinations across the continent. And the third reason is our dependable renewable energy. We lead in terms of production of geothermal, solar related power generation. So in terms of assuring the manufacturers or the investors that they have constant power, we have lately and continuously increased our use of renewable energy to up to about 80% of our power generation is renewable energy. And that also gives you the assurance that we are not likely to run out of power anytime soon. The fourth compelling reason is the young and dynamic workforce that we have in the country. 70% of our workforce is under 35 and it's well educated. And so in terms of when you're positioning your production or your manufacturing or investment in Kenya, you're assured of certain important basic factors of production. We have also innovation, very many innovation hubs, and we pride ourselves as the Silicon Savannah of Africa. Our innovation hubs have continued to amuse the world. We have the M-Pesa, which is that mobile money payment platform that has revolutionized doing business in our country. Now, the key sectors that I see opportunities in include and not limited to manufacturing and industry, where we are looking at looking at manufacturing products out of our special economic zones and our export promotion zones, which enjoy a lot of tax holidays and a lot of other factors of production that are highly subsidized by the government. We're looking at agri-business and food processing, which I mentioned earlier on, that if you don't talk about food production within the region and within the continent and the world at large, then we are looking at a very frightening future where food can become a major problem of the world. Then we also are looking at areas of renewable energy and green technology, where we are again talking about continuously increasing the less dependence on this diesel generated power that pollutes the world, and we are looking at a cleaner, greener earth that we are laying a lot of emphasis on renewable energy and green technology. And then we have also ICT and innovation sector. That is a sector that is being supported by the young, youthful workforce or under 35s in terms of innovation and creativity and being able to come up with products that are revolutionizing doing business, including supporting the micro and small enterprises with technology that makes it simple to understand your business and be able to do the business as it should. We also have another sector of tourism and education that really is growing very quickly. And when we look at tourism, we have a new line of tourism that's medical tourism and sports tourism. Kenya, is a world beater. We have just shown that recently in the Japan World Championships, where we came up second overall in the world. And we have good training facilities which can be turned into tourism facilities. Now, Kenya is also attractive to Slovakia because we have stable and predictable investment climate. I think we can proudly say we are one of the few countries within the continent that enjoy no exchange controls. You can bring in as much foreign currency for investment and take out as much as you want, because we are not restricted. We know that business and capital is a coward if it finds all these difficult conditions, and so we are allowed to we allow you to carry your profits and bring in your investment without too many conditions. We have also been continuously keeping our eyes on the ease of doing business, and we have dropped considerably from, I think, 139 to about 55. I'm not sure of the latest figures worldwide, which means that the private sector, we have been pushing the government continuously to release all the bottlenecks that have otherwise hindered doing business. Additionally, of course, we have one big advantage in that we are an English-speaking country, and therefore our ability to adapt to any kind of changes and adopting to visitors who come and like to do business here, we have that workforce that is good at speaking English and reasonably and highly educated, and a cosmopolitan business environment, which tells us that, you know, when you come here, you don't feel left out. The government has also prioritized this by introducing the special economic zones, the export processing zones, which are really giving preferential treatment to operators within that environment. And they offer tax holidays, they give you tax exemptions, and simplified regulatory framework that enables you to do your business without too much difficulties. Now, my call to action, ladies and gentlemen, today, this forum is not just about exchanging. This forum is not just about exchanging ideas. It's about building partnerships and mutually beneficial partnerships, so that we are able to build trade together and be able to enjoy. For Slovak businesses, Kenya is not only a promising consumer market, but also a springboard into Africa. I mean, I can confidently say that we are the entry point, the gateway to Africa, using the Mombasa port, where you can bring your goods and take out your goods. You can fly directly to Jomo Kenyatta and be able to find your way across. Kenya business for Kenyan business, Slovakia provides a gateway to European Union as a market to a market that has over 450 consumers. So KEPSA stands ready to facilitate these linkages, whether through B2B matchmaking, trade missions, policy advocacy, or investment facilitation. And I want to say that as Valerie was speaking, and she talked about being 45 minutes from Bratislava, I remembered that I had very good coffee at Bratislava one time when I led a Kenyan delegation to Bratislava, and I have very fond memories of that place. So in closing, let me emphasize that the partnership between Kenya and Slovakia is one of mutual prosperity. By combining Kenya's position as Africa's gateway with Slovakia's industrial and technological strengths, we can unlock potential and opportunities that create jobs, drive innovation, and expand trade on both sides. KEPSA looks forward to deepening this collaboration and working hand in hand with Slovak businesses, government, and development partners to build a shared growth and a mutually beneficial prosperity. I want to thank you and really just look forward to arranging, as I said, a meeting between me and the ambassador once I get back to Kenya, and probably arrange another visit to Slovakia or invite Slovaks to Nairobi and make this not just a talk show, but a reality. I want to thank you and stop there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, James. I really appreciate explaining the context and the main reasons why to actually do business with Kenya. Thank you for that. And I see that we have Ambassador raising his hand. So is there a question at place?
Yes, thank you. Just a little comment. Mr. Chairman, dear James, thank you very much for the information and also for the offer to engage with not only Slovak companies, but us as an embassy and other players. I will just use the opportunity because you mentioned a part of Matúš presentation of EXIMBANKA, who is unfortunately not attending the meeting anymore due to his other commitments. But I would like to explain, yes, you are completely right that the state does not much many business. It's mostly on businesses themselves and private sector. However, the product that Matúš was mentioning is something that enables Slovak companies to come into business with Kenyan state or other countries' state institutions. I'll give an example. If a state institution does need finance, I don't know, a new IT system, they can get it from Slovak company. It can be financed from the EXIMBANKA, but the good thing is that the EXIMBANKA can provide concession from 35 to 50%. So that means that the cost for the state authority on the other side will be in half price, it can be said. 35% applies for Kenya and 50% applies for Rwanda, Tanzania, and Uganda, whose representatives we have already here. So what Matúš mentioned is not government to government business, but is business to government transaction. So I think it's very important and interesting for not only for the Slovak entrepreneurs because it somehow mitigates the risks, but it's also very useful for the state authorities on the other side who get a product for a better price. So I wanted just to clarify, and I would be very happy, James, once you come back to discuss it in person. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Maroš. And just as a by the way, I just forgot to mention also that there is a company, Real Sources Africa, which operates in Kenya, that is one of the 5 accredited AFCFTA, the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement companies that's opening huge opportunities. I'll be sharing that with you when I get back so that we see how we can leverage on Real Sources. They're setting up positioning companies across the whole continent, and it will be interesting to see how we can do what we can do with Slovak companies. So thank you very much, and thank you for that intervention.
Now I would use the opportunity and possibly to move to another country profile. We have Rwanda going on, and without further hesitation, I would like to kindly ask Divine Nakanyange, hopefully I said it correctly, Head of Investment Marketing and Promotion Department of the Rwanda Development Board, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. It is my honor to join this webinar, and thank you for organizing this important webinar where we have a platform to showcase investment opportunities available in the EAC. So maybe I think we are meeting at the right moment because as Rwanda, we are creating new opportunities in which Slovak businesses, institutions, and investors are deal-based to participate and benefit. Maybe since I noticed that most of companies on the webinar, it is their first time to ESC, maybe they haven't heard about Rwanda. I wanted to highlight some information about Rwanda so that you know what is Rwanda. Even when you are making a decision to invest in Rwanda, you know where you are investing. So last year, in 2024, Rwanda registered investment equivalent to 2.2 billion, and that presented an increase of 32.4% compared to the previous year. And also these commitments in investments registered are expected to generate over 51,600 jobs, with the manufacturing leading both new job creation and also investment share. When it comes to the most attractive sectors in 2024 in Rwanda, we had manufacturing, agro-processing, financial insurance services, mining, and real estate. And together, these sectors accounted approximately 78% of all registered investors. This reflects growing confidence in our economy and also demonstrates the potential opportunities available to our strategic investors and potential investors from Slovakia. So when it comes to cooperation between Rwanda, trade cooperation, in May 2022, we had 18 Slovak companies that visited Rwanda to engage with our public and private institutions. So the framework is already there. And they were here in Rwanda to explore investment opportunities and the trade opportunities in manufacturing, agriculture, and also trading, of course. And also we have investment from Slovakia that in Rwanda. So we can give a notable example of Rokovia Lokosana project, which includes plans for an industrial park and a fertilizer processing, linking agriculture, industrial value addition, and green technology. Furthermore, we have a memorandum of understanding between SARIO, the Slovak Investment and Trade Development Agency, that of course will be renewing soon, and the Rwanda Development Board, which is establishing a framework for cooperation in joint ventures, technology transfer, and also market access. So we have that framework that has been created by that MOU. So those initiatives that we have mark the foundation of partnership with real potential to expand in Rwanda. And also, now that we know that we have a framework in place, I wanted to touch on the 6 key sectors where we think Slovak-Rwanda collaboration can generate tangible results, not only for our economy, but also for Slovak potential investors. First, we have opportunities in agriculture and agro-processing. So this is a sector that remains central to our economy. Opportunities lie in value addition for our coffee, tea, fruits. So we are looking for investors to come to add addition to those crops, and also in mechanization, in cold chain logistics, in fertilizers, in seeds, and also agro inputs. So in that sector, in agriculture and processing, we think that Slovak expertise in mechanized farming, organic fertilizers, and advanced processing technologies can play a transformative role. So, and also the second sector is manufacturing. Under our Made in Rwanda program initiative, we aim to boost local production of garments, construction materials, and consumer goods. Slovak precision engineering, quality standards, and intermediate goods production are area of natural synergy when it comes to manufacturing. And also the third sector is the ICT, innovation in smart city solutions. In this, Rwanda is investing in ICT through broadband expansion, fiber optics, and also Kigali Innovation City. Slovak firms can partner in software development, e-governance, data centers, cybersecurity, and also smart infrastructure. The fourth sector is renewable energy and green technologies. Rwanda is expanding hydropower, solar, mini grids, and also energy storage. So in this sector, we think that Slovak expertise and financing in green technology is in climate resilience infrastructure. We think that we need that, and also they are welcome to Rwanda when the financing in green technologies, in climate resilient infrastructure are really welcome, and we'll be happy to have them financing in those sectors. And also when it comes to financial services and insurance, through the Kigali International Financial Center, KIFC, Rwanda is positioning itself as a regional hub when it comes to financial sector. And opportunities exist in insurance, fintech, venture capital, and investment management. On that, with the Slovak institutions can contribute capital and know-how when it comes to financial services and insurance. The sixth or the last, because I say that I will focus on 6 key sectors. In real estate and construction, we have a rapid urbanization, which is driving demand for housing, industrial zones, and commercial infrastructure. Area for collaboration in this sector include green building, sustainable construction materials, and innovative construction technologies. Those are key 6 sectors that we need Slovak investors to consider coming to Rwanda and investing. And also to encourage and protect investments, Rwanda offers a business-friendly environment with streamlined procedures, digital services, and strong incentives. For example, if you are an investor and you want to do business in Rwanda, you deal directly with the Rwanda Development Board, everything you need, information, opportunities, facilitation. If you you are investing in a sector where you need a license or permit, everything is done at RDB, and it's within a few hours. For example, if you want to register your company in Rwanda, it takes only a few hours, less than 6 hours. So you can come and try. Yeah, and also we have a strategic market access through the East African Community, COMESA and FTA. You will have a market access of 1.4 billion people. And also when it comes to workforce, we have a young, literate, and also an increased skilled workforce that you can work with when you choose to do business in Rwanda. And also we have a growing infrastructure that we are offering to investors, including logistics, energy, broadband, and also industrial parks. And all moving forward, I would propose for us to be able to unlock our full potential together to strengthening trade framework through preferential agreements, to have a harmonized standard and also improve the market access. And also to have joint investment promotion with the Rwanda Development Board and SARIO, already establishing a bilateral investment, like a platform. We can use that to have a bilateral investment desk to match Slovak firms with the Rwandan opportunities. And also in technology transfer and capacity building, we propose to have vocational training, digital skills, and renewable energy engineering. So we can also establish international business action through regular trade missions, through having investor forums like that trade mission we had in 2022, and also through organizing B2B roundtables to be able to unlock the full potential that we have together. Yeah, I'm concluding saying that Rwanda is not only opening up, it is transforming. We are advancing industrialization, value addition, sustainability, integration into regional and global supply chains. To our Slovak partners, we invite you to bring not only your investment, but also expertise, technology, and partnership. Together, we can build enterprises, create jobs, generate value, and strengthen the bond between our two countries through, of course, your investments to Rwanda, and also through having those joint ventures. So we thank you for your attention. I'll conclude here. I hope to receive questions, and I will share more details during the questions. Thank you very much for your attention.
Maybe on behalf of SARIO, I would like to highlight that we will have a delegation coming from Rwanda that will be focused on ICTs during the next month. So companies, if they are interested, they can already register to that. But to keep the focus on the agenda, I would like to pass the word to Mrs. Johanna Sandberg, who is Managing Director at the European Business Chamber of Rwanda. Thank you.
Thank you, and really nice to see Devin here in this call. It's a little hard to go after her, so I will try to skip a few slides, so we don't repeat, but we focus on continuing the content on Rwanda. And it's correct, we had the business mission where we're working between SARIO, RDB, and EBCR a few years ago, which was really successful. So it's nice to see that these conversations are taking place, and we get the opportunity also to represent what we are doing in Rwanda. A few words about the chamber. So we have a European Business Chamber in Rwanda, where we have 21 European member states as honorary members in the chamber, plus more than 100 European companies, but also Rwandan companies that wants to trade with Europe, either in Europe or also with European companies, or with substantial interest in that. We are closely working with the European delegation in Rwanda, and are also part of the global network of European business chambers across Africa. So I'm coordinator for the European business chambers for Africa and the African cluster. So if SARIO ever wants to look also into other markets, we are also here to create the links between our regions and make sure that European companies that are coming into this market have the substantial networks and links already at arrival. And we were also really happy to visit Kenya this year for the EU-Kenya Business Forum, seeing the new Kenya European Chamber being announced, and that we now have a partner in Kenya. So strengthening these connections between the East African countries and how we collaborate, ensuring that the companies can benefit for that, are really important for us. So I'll try to share my screen. Let's see. Basically, between RDB and the European Business Chamber, we are a good landing platform in Rwanda. We do the business delegations, we work directly with companies to ensure that they can arrive in a good way and have the right connections to kickstart their businesses. We do B2B, we do B2G services. We also have a service desk at our office. So if you visit Rwanda and you need any kind of support or connection to the banks, connection to any kind of other companies that can help with company setup, we are there for that. So that's kind of the European Business Chamber. That's how we also are here in this call, is to support that journey and bridge between Europe and Rwanda. So Rwanda as a business environment is in top 2 of doing the ease of doing business. We have the special economic zones, we have special tax incentives if you decide to invest here. We have a Rwanda Development Board and the one-stop center, so that you have one place to go for all your business needs. I have allowed myself, I know I heard Devin say, like, and I'm happy I mentioned it a few days ago in a presentation, that it takes 6 hours to set up a company in Rwanda. Sometimes it can take a little more depending on the kind of setup you need. So I allow myself to say between 6 and 48 hours, but it's quite easy to set up a business. It's quite easy to get your work permits. It's also rather cheap, I have to say, for compared to the region. So there's a good collaboration between RDB and also if you have to get work permits and support to set up. In that sense, it's not so complicated in Rwanda, and you can get started quite quick. And it's also where you save money if you're looking to set up and you're ready to get started. Rwanda is a good place. So then there's certain, Devin also mentioned it, certain exemptions. Also, you have the opportunity for 100% profit repatriation. Rwanda is ranked among the safest countries in Africa, we have very low corruption, and it's quite transparent. Rules and regulations are quite clear, and it makes it easier to do business both with each other, but also to deal with the government. And then Rwanda, we know we don't have a coastline. We know it takes more in terms of logistics. And there's certain things that becomes a bit more expensive when you are in the country as Rwanda is. But on the other hand, Rwanda is really in the heart of East Africa and the Great Lakes, and it's a strategic position if you also want to take it as a landing platform, setting up, trying out your business case in Rwanda, see how it works with this market, and then going into some of the bigger markets afterwards. Then I want to talk about some of the things that were relevant for some of the companies in this call. So I'm hoping I'm focusing on the right things on the next slides here. So for the ICT sector, it has a contribution of 3% of the GDP and is growing 50% annually. The Kigali Innovation Project, City Project, is also mentioned, and it is to attract 300 million US in tech and investments. Rwanda's target for business outsourcing services and being a hub for that is also really growing, and more we see bigger companies coming in, and within 1-2 years they're up and have recruited 200 to 500 people here because we have a bilingual workforce. We have a lot of youth in Rwanda. 70% of the population are under 30. And these are educated people who are ready to take up work. And Rwanda is also on the same timeline as Europe, at least half of the year. So it makes it easy to work with Rwanda as an outsourcing opportunity. In terms of the 4G coverage, 95% with strong mobile penetration for this market, which also makes a difference. Then we have the manufacturing and industry. So the manufacturing contribution is 17% of the GDP, projected to be 20 by 2030. Construction sector grows at 10% annually, driven by urbanization and infrastructure. Here you also have opportunities to invest. Agro-processing in Rwanda, we heard our Kenyan partners talking about food security, but it's a major opportunity if you are in this sector because it's high priority. Rwanda imports 80% of construction materials, so you also have opportunities in this sector. And the hope is that we will get more and more local production in Rwanda. Then we go to services and finance. So the financial sector grows. If we're looking at the financial sector, we have 16 plus licensed banks, and there's with regional integration. As an example, I&M Bank is in Rwanda, but you will also find I&M Bank in Uganda. So you have opportunities to find banks that can work the different markets. And we have 460 microfinance institutions that could give opportunities if you decide to set up partnerships. Then on the real estate market, it's growing 3 to 6% annually. Kigali housing demands are increasing with urban population. Affordable housing is one of the big areas. This is really a growing market, and more companies are looking into that as Kigali is growing. And also the having other hubs around Rwanda, other cities that are also going to be invested in, creates opportunities in real estate. Rwanda aims to position itself as a regional arbitration and legal hub. And we have several of these companies already also part of EBCR, and we have these members with us if you are in the service sector. Health and defense. So if we're looking at healthcare spending, it's at 7.5% of the GDP, with 90% of the population covered by community health insurance. So I think this is one of the special things about Rwanda, is that the money is being spent on ensuring that the population have access to healthcare. There is a growing demand for specialized healthcare and medical technology, and Rwanda's strategy is focused on health tourism. Kigali Health City is currently being built and developed, and I would also, if I was in this sector, really look into this project and see if how there will be so many businesses that are going to be connected to that in the future, and it would be interesting to look at already. Then we have the defense. Rwanda is modernizing its defense with needs in airspace control, border security, rapid deployment, and future capacity. The police are upgrading through community policing, firefighting, also firefighting investigation. Whereas if you are into that, there could be opportunities for you. Digital crime management, private security regulations are taking place. And this is also an opportunity to look at if you are in that type of business to come to Rwanda, because it is a priority to have a safe country, and they are really investing in that. So it means that you will have opportunities to partner in training, technology, logistics, security solution to support Rwanda's ability, stability, and regional role. So why companies should come to Rwanda? Political stability and safety, ease of doing business, market access and gateway to the East African market, a young and skilled workforce, and incentives. We have the special economic zones, tax holidays, reputation of profits, sustainability focus, green growth, smart cities, renewable energy. Last things is just some key takeaways for when we are looking at Rwanda. So Rwanda is a reform-driven, ambitious economy with a consistent growth and stability, attractive gateway to the East African and African markets, supportive business environment, ease of doing business, investment incentives, and government collaborations. Like I can say with honest heart, Devina and I work very good together. And we are here to support the businesses that are coming in. Investment opportunities for European investors is in ICT, innovation, agribusiness and food processing, sustainable urban development, tourism and hospitality, security and safety solutions, and much more. European investors can play a leading role in Rwanda's next growth chapter through innovation, partnerships, and sustainable investment. This city has really developed. The sectors have developed. The city is developing. The opportunities in Rwanda is increasing. We just had the World Cycling, and yeah. So just to say that a lot is happening in Rwanda. A lot of opportunities are here, and we are here to support any investors that wants to come to Rwanda. And if they want to go from Rwanda into the East African markets, we are also here for that.
Thank you, Hannah, for your insights. And I see that multiple sectors that you actually outlined overlap with the Slovak sectors. And I do believe that we will have potential to be part of that growing environment. I don't see any questions, but I feel that Samuel Čellár has a point to say. So Samuel, please tell us more.
Thank you very much, Adam, Ioana. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Divine. I have just one question on Divine. During your presentation, you mentioned a proposal for a bilateral investment desk. If you could maybe elaborate on this a little bit. Thank you. Divine, I think you're unmuted.
Sorry, I didn't notice that. So thank you for the question. So on bilateral cooperation, we're saying that for us to be able to facilitate or to have investment from Slovakia, and also to be able to facilitate them and to unlock potential opportunities that we have together and to work together, we need to continue to working together. And it's good that we have already a framework, which is that MOU, but I think we can do more together. So what I meant for that is that we need to have that platform. Maybe we can work together and also ensure that you have that platform is established, and also not just having, because we had that trade mission like 3 years ago, Joanna, 2022, but we want to have it on regular basis, maybe every year, so that we can be able to track and to facilitate, to have Slovak investors who would want to come to Rwanda, but also we need to create that bilateral framework and working together.
Can I jump in also? I know that's between the countries, and I'm a chamber, but one of the things that I just wanted to highlight that we are having in our pipeline between RDB and EPCR and the EU member states is a real mapping of the most important sectors that the European countries want to invest in. Really have a deep dive into the business cases, so we have the opportunity also to come and attract the company based on a business case and a deep understanding of the relevant sectors for your country. So one of the things that we would like between RDB and EPCR is to come to you as Slovakia and also SARIO, just to check in what is your priorities in the coming years. How can we ensure we can showcase the business cases, and also based on that build our future business missions to Rwanda in collaboration with you. So yeah, this is a project in pipeline.
Yeah, it's good. And also on a regular basis. Yeah. Thank you, Joanna.
Can I also jump in just briefly also and just say this? As a region, I think we also owe it to each other to make sure that we share information, because you see, when I'm talking about the East Africa, I'm talking about Kenya is a small market, East Africa is a slightly bigger market, COMESA has even bigger market, and the AFCFTA has the biggest market. So I realize as the East African community, we have removed this visa requirement now for even tourists. Visitors can come and visit across. So maybe time has come even for us, when you're bringing a mission for business purposes, a mission can come and cover 2 or 3 countries within the region, rather than have only people flying from Slovakia to Rwanda, then go back, then we invite them to Kenya, they go back, we invite them to Uganda, they go back, invite them. It becomes very expensive, and vice versa. When we come to Slovakia, we want also to meet as many of the other regional, we can meet Austrians, German, the business community that works around there. And that way, for practical business purposes, then it becomes much easier. We route. I've done that with the Middle East, where Jordan, Oman, Saudi Arabia, and Dubai. I've had visitors coming to Kenya where they just do a circuit. They come to, I picked them from that region, and when they come, then we allow them to come to Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. We can allow them to, because really we are talking of one common market. And I may have something that Tanzania does not have or Rwanda does not have. And so we give the businessmen an opportunity to be able to traverse the region and explore for themselves. I think it's important that we don't work in silos, rather we work together as one unit. That's my, just something that crossed my mind when I was listening to their contributions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, colleagues from Rwanda, and also thank you very much, James. Absolutely, I agree with you. As you mentioned, when colleagues from East African countries travel to Europe, they can also join the other countries. There's also the case, the past case, also that we experience with in cooperation also with our dear Valerie from Kenya, where delegations can freely travel across. So definitely, we are very supportive of this initiative, and that's usually the way we do it. When we bring delegation from Slovakia to East Africa, we don't visit only one country, but since due to the distance, we visit at least two countries. Yeah, for the future, we'll be very open if such initiative takes place to make the travel easier. We are all for it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. And in the meantime, we have received actually 2 related questions for the Q&A part. They are concerning Kenya and Rwanda. And the question basically is, what are the most profiting agriculture products for exports? And which unique agriculture products does Kenya and Rwanda produce? While also the question is related to agrotourism. What might be the opportunities in agrotourism, for example, in your countries? I mean, especially the question was for Kenya and Rwanda. Maybe James, if you can touch on that.
Okay, I'll go first. Thank you very much. Yeah, when you look at the agro products that we have, Kenya prides itself as having the best tea and coffee in the world. I dare say, if anybody hasn't tasted Kenyan tea and coffee, then they don't know what they're missing. But really, we have very fine products. And sometimes I say, you know, even just thinking about Bratislava, where they serve very good coffee, they should not serve just ordinary coffee. They should serve the best coffee, and that's Kenyan coffee. So there's a big opportunity there to position Kenyan products, coffee and tea, into Slovakia. We can have a situation where a Slovakian company, because of technology, they can bring technology for packaging and processing these products from here to the European shelves directly without, so the value add locally here, and we employ people locally here. Because the other thing, of course, is we would want to create employment locally here from the product. The other agri product that I know we have and we're doing very well is in terms of cut flowers. We have a very good market for cut flowers. I mean, product in cut flowers, and Europe, I know, imports a lot of cut flowers. Unfortunately, they have to go through Amsterdam, but this is something that can be worked on, where you come directly and negotiate, and we export directly to Slovakia, and use even Slovakia as another springboard to the rest of Europe. So those are the 2 that come into my mind immediately. Obviously, we also have horticulture. We have the French beans, all the variety of vegetable. We have potatoes, that's very, very strong, and bananas in the country. So we do have those products, and value addition for banana crisps and potato crisps and chips for the various outlets. There's a big opportunity for that, because we have a region that grows very well. The last one is milk value addition. We have counties in the country that produce a huge amount of milk. I mean, Nyandarua, for example, produces over 75 million liters of milk every year. Kiambu, it's almost 100 million liters of milk every year. So, I mean, companies that are looking at value addition for milk products, again, that's an area that I know we are very, very strong and giving good incentives for potential partnerships. Yep.
Yeah, would like to add, sorry, just to add to Mr. James, as he mentioned very well, it's important to realize also on the characteristics of Kenya, because we are in the equator, not only Kenya but Uganda as well, and Tanzania, but specifically in Kenya, where I know more, we are in the equator with altitude. So there are a lot of regions that the temperatures go around 10 degrees, maintaining very good characteristics for production all year round. So it is a very particular environment that gives that chance to produce during all year, in contrast to countries in Europe that or they do greenhouses, or they need to wait until a better weather comes. So it is a very good country for agriculture, and tourism. Agriculture is coming up as well. There are many examples already, many places that you can do that in Kenya. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just in addition to that, I think there's a new brand of business that's developing. Now you can come to Kenya, visit the tea farms, pick your own tea, roast it, and pack it yourself. It's experiential tea harvesting, coffee roasting, and you go there. You can go and pick your flowers. There's another tourism branch that is growing in the country, where you go and experience it firsthand. Pick your tea and roast it and cut it and take it away as an experience. It's a new tourism, again, very, very interesting area of growth. Thank you.
Thank you, James. And maybe one more related question. Do you also grow medical plants?
Yes, we do. We do have products like, I don't know that they are really medical, because pyrethrum is quite a big product that we grow. Of course, you know, the tea has medicinal values in it. I know it works out osteoporosis and stuff like that. So those are the kind of and in any case, most of the food, the organic food that is grown in Kenya, because of out of necessity, without all these chemicals available to the farmers, they use manure, which makes the food organic and reasonably safe to consume, as opposed to all these other chemically grown food products. So in a way, that's a safe product that we have there.
Thank you, James. And I will forward this question also to Divine. If you have some comments maybe on that, what are the most profiting agriculture products for exports, or maybe some unique agriculture products that are being produced in Rwanda, and maybe some comment on agrotourism, if this is something that is potential from your point of view.
Okay, thank you. On the question on Rwandan products for exports, of course, we do have coffee, we have tea, we have horticultural products that we do have for export. For example, we do export flowers, we do export our bananas, avocados. Those are products that we are exporting, and also, of course, tea and coffee. But also we need more value addition when it comes to investment. We want to export them with the value added. When it comes to, of course, that will bring us to investment opportunities that we have in agriculture, which value addition. But in addition to that, we do export flowers, horticulture products, coffee, tea, and fruits. On the question on agrotourism, so as you know, Kigali or Rwanda is second when it comes to maize. Like hosting conferences, events, and as Joanna mentioned, we had just hosted the UCI championship, and also when it comes to event hosting, now we are having increased the number of visitors, delegates coming to Rwanda. That itself creates opportunities for tourism, because we want to ensure that those who are visiting in Rwanda to attend those conferences, those meetings, they have time, and also they extend their stay in Rwanda after their conferences to enjoy our tourism, agrotourism. That itself creates an opportunity for that. And also in that, we are looking for investors who can come and establish like entertainment or leisure park. That is something that the government is pushing, and also we want, when we get an investor interested in that, we'll be able to attract them. And also everything we have, if you have visited Rwanda, we see that we have green. Rwanda is green. And also the view is scenic, which means that itself is therapeutic. We need investment in that agrotourism, whether we can have, you know, we can have modern, you know, view of that natural, scenic and green country that we have. So I think on that I will stop there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Divine.
Oh, sorry, there was also a question on medicinal plants.
Yes.
So on that, I wanted to mention that as Rwanda, we are having now, we want to encourage, we are having cannabis, we are growing cannabis, but for medicinal purpose. So we are encouraging investors who want to grow that and process it, but for medicinal purpose. So on that, of course, we have measures to ensure that that cannabis is only used for medicinal purpose, but mostly it will be for export. That is a product that is medicinal, but also that now as Rwanda we are promoting, but for export purpose. Thank you.
Thank you. And Samuel?
Divine, let me tell you, it's called a hemp. There's cannabis, marijuana, and there's cannabis hemp. Hemp is a good one. Marijuana is the one that gives you the high. So I'm sure my brother Paul Kagame would not want the high one. It's the hemp that has medicinal value and which is being considered by many other countries within the East African region because it grows well. But like you say, in fact, the hemp, even if it's not unlike what people believe, it doesn't give you a high like marijuana, but see the plant looks the same. So you have to be sure which plant is being grown to be safe. So yeah, it's good to be thinking, and it's got high value, medicinal value. So yes, it's good to just be adventurous and try everything. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the inputs. I'll also just add very quickly with regard to the question on the medicinal plants, just to explain to the Slovak company. Basically, in the countries of East Africa, what you will meet are very, very fertile lands. The soils are exponentially fertile, and what you have are two growing seasons compared to one in Slovakia. And based on my experience as a resident in here, I can say that you can really buy just any plant grown in here, which you would buy in Europe. So definitely, when it comes to medicinal plant, there are no limitations. I think this topic can be inspected more in detail. We can be in touch after the webinar, but also with regard to the export agricultural products, so it can be of interest. And as Divine mentioned, products with added value. What might be also of interest are, let's say, oils from different plants which are indigenous for the region. I mean, for instance, macadamia, sesame, avocado. Out of all these, you can extract oil, which is sold very expensively on the market, as all of you know. And the initial product can be bought very cheaply in the region. So these are just some of the examples, but we can go into more detail after the presentation and direct communication. Thank you.
Can I also jump in again and say, help Rwanda? They forgot something that I like very much: the chili oil. They have a kavanga, which is very good chili oil, and it's an agricultural product that they should consider. Divine, you're forgetting a kavanga.
Yeah, and it's exported all over Europe.
Yes. I actually have it here in the US.
Yeah.
I'm in the USA and I've seen it here.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of horticulture value addition. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the comments. We don't have any further questions, but I assume we can move to another country profile, which is Uganda. And if you allow me, I would like to ask Mr. Colin Zagraba, Trade, Transport and Logistics Sector Coordinator of the Private Sector Foundation, Uganda.
I've been listening in from my brothers from Kenya, my sister from Tanzania, from Rwanda. She has quite been elaborative enough, and she has tried to explain how Rwanda is. And then it's time to listen into Uganda about what we do. So I will just highlight about PSFU, but I know much about Uganda will be explained by Uganda Investment Authority, which is going to be giving a presentation here. So all of you will be able to get more of the context here. When you look at PSFU, we are an association, an apex body of the private sector in Uganda. We have over 12 sectors as they are arranged there, where we have culture and agribusiness, which is the main focus here, construction and real estate, financial services, professional services, tourism, manufacturing, energy, mining, oil and gas, culture and creatives, ICT, trade and commerce, transport and logistics, and human resources. So why are we here as PSFU? We're here to catalyze business growth and competitiveness, sustainable wealth creation, and shared value. PSFU collaborates very well with the government, and on that note, we have been able to work with the Government Authority, UNBS, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Trade, and also this has been able to organize also trade missions in Uganda, Private Sector Foundation, working with the government, especially Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Uganda Investment Authority in this area. To give you another highlight, government is having a major consideration in the private sector in that in the financial year, we had to share our budget proposals, and 84.5% of our proposals are taken up by government, to show that the government is now committed to working with us as the private sector. Why do you need to invest in Uganda from our private sector perspective? This is not from government perspective, but private sector. First of all, Uganda is strategically located. That is to say, we no longer say we are landlocked. We don't have access to the coast, yes, as compared to Kenya and Tanzania, but we are land linked. For example, when you come in Uganda, you're going to have an access to the market in Burundi, to DRC, Rwanda, South Sudan, Kenya, and Tanzania, when you're all in Uganda. And you also have an access to a bigger market of AfCFTA and ESC, and also you have an access to the northern corridor through the port of Mombasa. When it comes to power supply, currently, I think it was as of last year, the private sector, especially in the manufacturing sector, industrial sector, they're able to access cheap, reliable, and stable power at 5 US cents for extra large manufacturers. We had advocated this for quite a number of years, and finally we got it, and we are happy to report that our manufacturers are enjoying 5 US cents per kilowatt hour in Uganda. You have access to market. The population actually it is currently at 50 million. It was 49, but is currently 50 million. And also youth population, which is skilled enough. They will give you labor, energetic, and they're all waiting to work if you come and invest in Uganda here. But when I looked at, before I go into opportunities, when I had a look at the trade between Uganda and Slovakia, I realized that we import goods worth 4.3 million US dollars. And most of this is electrical, machinery, and somewhere nuclear reactors and boilers, and somewhere second-hand clothes. And I realized that Uganda, we export as of 2024, we export only 269,000 US dollars, which is quite absurd. You look at the trade balance, is still wanting. And what are we exporting? Surprisingly, so we're exporting vanilla, not our coffee, where we are able to, because in Uganda, coffee, we're exporting as of 2025, as of May, we exported over 7.43 million 60 kilogram bags. So, which is fetching over 2 billion US dollars as part of export, and is contributing 67% of our export. the first opportunity which I have here highlighted is agriculture and agro-industrialization, where we say that agriculture is contributing 24% to the GDP and playing more of 70%. But most of this is subsistent, coupled with limited value addition and poor post-harvest handling of produce. So we lose over 40% of our produce into post-harvest losses. So in that, this is an opportunity for you to come and invest in value addition, in silos, in adding value to most of these products, especially in the grain sector and also in some of the crop sector. We also have, when I looked at the companies which want to come to Uganda, and even when I discussed with the gentleman, I think it's Daniel, they spoke about fertilizer. And I realized that in Uganda, we have a low fertilizer use as compared to the average. Kenya is the highest, especially in East Africa, but Uganda, we are still lagging behind. I think because we don't have access to organic fertilizers. So this is a very big opportunity for the Slovak companies to come here and invest and set up fertilizer plants and also encourage mechanized agriculture, which is lacking since we are still subsistent and using rudimentary tools. When it comes to healthcare, I realized that we spend a lot of our money on healthcare, 7% of GDP, and we find that there are limited specialized hospitals. Where you look at diagnosis centers, they are limited. Look at we have a growing middle class want to have access to quality healthcare, and this is still lacking. And I hope Slovak companies can come and invest in this, especially in diagnosis centers, to diagnose those complicated diseases. Thirdly, manufacturing. When I looked into the list of the Slovak companies, most of them are interested in wood, wood and machinery. There's one which struck my mind is about industrial springs. This one, we don't have it in Uganda yet. Yet we have a growing mobility sector in Uganda where we're having our plant, government is investing in setting up vehicle manufacturing plants, especially e-mobility actually, because I said there's someone interested in e-mobility. It is also a growing sector when it comes to motorcycles. I know Rwanda is also doing this in motorcycles. We have e-mobility, we have cars, the government, and also the population is embracing e-mobility. So I would invite the several companies to come here and invest in manufacturing and assembly of some of these products. You have access to zero-rated most of the raw materials when you're importing into East Africa. We have a common market, so we have zero-rated for most of the raw materials if you're importing to start up your business in Uganda. So what do I see and learn from here? I understand that Slovak companies have strength, that is technology, engineering, renewable energy, and healthcare. Uganda, what do we need? We need infrastructure, machinery, and green solutions. So here is a partnership we look at for technology transfer, joint ventures, and also EU-Africa financing trade missions. I can't wait to see, as I said, next year in January, to have a delegation from Slovak to come here and also to come and have business, do business with Uganda. Because I've heard Kenya saying you've had business with them, a business mission you've done in Kenya, but Uganda, not yet. Please come to Uganda and also have a beautiful look at what we call the Pearl of Africa. And if I highlight it next year, I'll tell you about how tourism is doing in Uganda, where I look at that 82.6% in 2023, Uganda was leading in recovery after COVID-19. And currently we welcome about 1.5 million tourists annually, and we are growing further. The numbers are still growing. I don't want to take much of your time. I think I would like to stop here and wait for questions. I know my colleague from Uganda Investment Authority is going to explain more of what needs to invest in Uganda and all that. I thank you.
We will continue with the presentation of Rita Mugula, Deputy Director of Investment Promotion at the Investment Promotion and Business Development Agency, and then we will get to potential Q&A part. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me just project this clearly. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure being part of this discussion. And I would like to thank the organizers and the investors from Slovakia that have really taken time and expressed their interest to invest in Uganda. And Collins, my colleague, thank you so much. You've actually discussed some quite good content, actually very good, and summarize that I'm going to go through. So for some that are repetition, I'll just re-echo what has been presented, but the presentation is going to focus on investing in Uganda. To start, of course, this is a quick map that shows where Uganda is located. I know you could have searched and seen, but to confirm, we are actually landlocked, but very land-linked within the East African region. As you can see us read here, we are bordered by almost the entire East African community. And I want to also re-echo my colleague from Kenya, Mr. I think Mureu, who guided that as we position and market ourselves, we are really East Africa. And I encourage investors as well to look at us holistically and not just country-centric. But key descriptions include, we have the longest river. This is a description, that is River Nile. We have Lake Victoria, which is the largest lake in Africa. And of course, we are part of the East African community. To fly to Uganda, these are the airlines that we have available that you can use. We also have a national carrier, the Uganda Airlines, but so many fly in and out of the country. As shown on the screen, this is your access and entry into Uganda. Of course, the critical question would be, why would you choose Uganda? First of all, Uganda is comparatively advantaged. As I've said, we are land-linked and not landlocked. That is a one critical point. If you're looking at entering East Africa, that is an entry point. And you can access the entire East African region from Uganda as a hub. But also we've proved and been awarded under the Annual Investment Meeting Awards and also under the World Investment Promotion Associations, where we've got Best Investment Destination Awards within the East African region, within the Africa region, but also promoting sustainability and green and climate investments. We've been awarded Sustainability Excellence Awards. So we're on the right path, and we are looking at how we make the country competitive. Of course, security of persons is guaranteed. That is by the investment code, which mandates and gives UIA the role to facilitate investors and protect them in the country. It's 100% ownership of projects. Those are foreign projects. Investors want to come in fully foreign. We don't have a restriction. However, we encourage partnerships, but it's not a regulatory restriction we tie you to. Uganda has been ranked among the top 10 industrial development countries by the African Development Bank. We are really driving an industrialization agenda, and this is driving value addition across the different sectors that I'm going to talk about soon. Uganda is the fastest growing economy within the East African region. This is guaranteed by the GDP growth, which is over $55 billion as of World Bank 2024. And this has been steadily growing. And right now in 2025, the projected growth is about 6.2%. When we look at the foreign direct investment, this has increased fourfold from 2020 to 2024. That is about $666 million. And currently, as of 2024, the FDI was close to $3 billion. So that steady growth actually is affirmation that Uganda's economy is stable, consistent, and the macroeconomic policies are really liberalized and support business and investment growth. I will not talk much about the market. Thank you. This has been echoed across all the East African countries because we really tap into the same affiliated markets, which is the East African community, the common market for East and Southern Africa, and then the African Free Continental Trade Area. So all these are markets wherever you're located within East Africa. We are positioning ourselves as one block. And so you are confirmed that whatever you're producing can access the market and the demand to encourage you to develop and then also return your profits. Repatriation of profits is allowable. And of course, we are going green. We have been ranked the second most biodiverse country in Africa by 2020. That is green investment and carbon offset potential. We have labor. We have a very high literacy rate. So the labor is very trainable and skillable. And to reconfirm, currently below around 75% of our population is really 35 years and below. So this really shows you we have a very young population that can equip the labor force, especially in the manufacturing and industrial sectors that we are looking at. Uganda is a beautiful country, but generally across East Africa. So we're encouraging tourism attraction within, and then you tour the entire block, as Kenya has said. Really, when you get into East Africa, go around using that open visa, go to Uganda, enter Kenya, Tanzania, get to understand the beauty across and what comparative advantages are within the different countries. And Ugandans are basically happy people. So as a foreign investor, this is really a happy people country, and we encourage you to come and settle and do business. To talk about the investment opportunities, we have a national development plan, definitely, that we are aligned to, and we've just developed our 4th national development plan, and the critical sectors are focusing on A4, which is commercial agriculture and agro-processing. We are looking at the tourism and accommodation development. We have mining and mineral value addition. We have the science, technology and innovation. But amongst this, we also have the infrastructure development, where we have real estate development, but also the service sector, and of course, manufacturing, which blends across all these critical sectors that I've talked about, where value addition is required. I'll give an example of some of the critical sectors we are focusing on. For example, agro value addition. I'm going to share with organizers, we have what we've profiled as bankable projects. These are projects that have feasibility and pre-feasibility studies ready. Some of them are private projects, some are with government. We have a Uganda Development Corporation, the investment arm of the government of Uganda, where we're looking for partners to come and co-invest with government so that we add value across the critical sectors. So it will be shared so that you look through at those opportunities, and then you can reach out to us to engage and discuss any potential collaboration or business partnership. Of course, coffee is one key product that we have in the agriculture, and we're looking at having an instant soluble plant established, green grading coffee facilities, coffee wetting processing. Another product we have under agriculture is cotton and textile processing. We really are here looking at revamping the cotton production. So this is basically a backward linkage, where we're encouraging textile processing companies to come and set up here, produce for export, but also re-energize the growth of cotton, creating demand, both forward and backward linkages. Of course, we have an integrated starch and ethanol plant establishment. This is coming from uses of cassava and maize and flour sorghum. We have another product is cocoa processing. The chocolate factory is growing hugely, and annual production is estimated at about 450 tons. So the potential is there, and we want to add value for export as well. Real estate, this I can't say much, but the growing population, as I've talked about, and the young population that is coming up, accommodation is an inevitable need. So as government of Uganda, we want to put in place affordable accommodation that really can take up the skilled labor force that is coming up. And we have some of these projects, like with private partnerships, who are putting up condominiums and gated communities for development, but also we want to revamp slum areas within the city center and the metropolitan areas to ensure that at least we have housing units that can accommodate the workforce that is growing. Mining sector, a lot of mineral values, a lot of minerals have been identified in the country. What we are looking at, the opportunities are cutting across from exploration, because we really want to quantify the reserves. That is one critical opportunity would attract you to, but also mining and refining, which is the value addition. So this is a very real sector, and the government is putting in place the regulatory framework that would facilitate and make investors really competitive to engage in mining. And just about 2 projects that the government is focusing on as an earmarked. We are looking at how we complement the agriculture sector. We have the phosphate fertilizer project, which we are marketing, but also we are looking at the iron and steel project establishment. We've discovered about 150 million tons of iron ore, and the construction sector infrastructure development is inevitable. So the demand is there across Uganda and the East African region. So we want to have steel manufacturing and fabrication plants established within the country. Petroleum sector, we have oil and gas. A lot of reserves have been discovered and infrastructure is ongoing. However, this is one sector that also is tapping along other value chains. And industrial park development is taking place within the areas that we have identified this oil. So there is critical urbanization that is taking place. So real estate is definitely one sector that is tapping into. The petroleum sector, we have fertilizer production because of the agriculture and value addition that is going to be part of that. We need to feed the upcoming city. Petrochemical industry, like manufacturing of pipes, adhesives, but also storage, both cold and warehousing opportunities that are in this area is because of the oil and gas boom development. I've mentioned Uganda is a very beautiful country. So from the investment side, we are looking at having high-end accommodation development, which will be able to feed and cover the tourists we are attracting into the country. So some accommodations include tourism and safari lodges. Of course, we have adventure tourism, gorilla tracking, but we are also looking at having urban and conference tourism, which is the MICE, to build modern conferences and international standard hotels that will really have the high-end tourists we are attracting the country into. So those are the key sectors that I've talked about, but other opportunities exist. Of course, we have infrastructure development. Under the services sector, we have health, financial services, and then, of course, educational services. We are focusing on vocational training. The skills are available. The literacy rates are high, but we need to have technical skills equipped for the population so that they are really capable to participate in the industrialized economy we are looking at having in Uganda. Why would you choose us once again? Yes, we have comparative advantages, and this cuts across East Africa, the agriculture, the rains, but at the end of the day, as an investor, it's the competitiveness that makes you relocate. So as government of Uganda, we put in place taxes and tax incentives that would really make your doing business in Uganda very easy and cost efficient. For example, we have income tax holidays. That is what we call the 10-year income tax. And these are sector specific according to the sectors that are really driving employment creation, but are also driving technology skill and transfer. So the 10-year income tax, holiday income tax in Uganda is 30%. So this is exempt if you get the income tax holiday. And we do this if you're producing for export, that is about 80% of what you've produced outside the East African region. You know, we are one domestic region now, so we consider East Africa domestic. So you would have to be exporting outside the EAC region. And then also if you're investing about $10 million in the critical sectors such as agriculture, ICT, health sector, and the manufacturing sector, you can also qualify for the 10-year income tax holiday. Across the critical sector, which is agriculture, that Uganda is basically anchored on, importation of plant and machinery is majorly import exempt, duty exempt, and the value added tax, which is 18%, is deferred. We don't charge it on the plant and machinery, so that reduces the operational costs. And this cuts across the manufacturing and agriculture sector. Under tourism, we are really promoting our development of infrastructure. So hotel, equipment, furniture, tourism vehicles, all these are exempt from import taxes at importation, as long as they are well labeled and indicated that they are going into the hoteling sector. And then also because the sceneries really and the lodges we are looking at having in place are up-country located, that is outside the central business centers. So the value-added tax is exempt on such accommodation, all to drive doing business costs. I've talked about having trainable and skillable labor. We really are looking at having technology transfer and skills to the population and the employed Ugandans. So any costs on research and development and trainings and skilling of the employees within a company, these are deductible costs, 100%. We deduct them from your tax exposure. And of course, as Uganda Investment Authority, we also manage and develop infrastructure within the industrial parks in which we attract investors to come and set up. This land is given at no cost. Upon availability of that land, we allocate to you as an investor free of charge. But also if you come and partner with the government of Uganda to ensure that you develop these industrial parks with us, like putting up warehousing facilities and letting facilities, you can also qualify for 10-year income tax holiday. Of course, as an investment promotion agency, our mandate cuts across. We are really mandated to facilitate, coordinate, and promote investments in the country. So we've gone ahead to create a one-stop center, and this is the last slide. This is housed under Uganda Investment Authority. It's both physical and virtual, where we are working with the different government agencies that are mandated to license and issue permits, such as the Uganda Registration Services Bureau for Company Incorporation, when you're getting visas and work permits, the Revenue Tax Body, Environment Advisory Compliance, we have the utility providers like water and electricity, and then also financial services like banking services and facilities, plus the free zones that promotes exports, processing within the country. All these and more, we have about 13 government agencies that are critical to an investor and a business to start in Uganda, housed under one roof, and are all digitally online. All the services can be accessed. So we encourage you to actually approach Uganda Investment Authority if you're looking at entry into Uganda, and we will facilitate the entire journey and ensure that you're actually established and you have a bureaucratic-free entry within the country. Thank you so much. This is the QR code to bankable projects, but I'm going to share that of the opportunities that have been very specific earmarked, and we are looking at potential partnership with investors. And I'm looking forward to you visiting Uganda. As my colleague Collins has said, we'll be glad to have a physical mission so that we take you around and engage face-to-face. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rita. It was a very fruitful presentation. I'm really happy to explore more possibilities in Uganda. It was very well to know what all is happening and that we have potential sectors to actually outline our further cooperation. And I see that Samuel has also something to say, so I will leave the word for him now.
Thank you very much, Adam. Rita, Collins, thank you very much for these very interesting presentations. Yes, there are very quite many interesting projects in Uganda taking place, as the one you mentioned with the oil, the pipeline that's being built, which is passing through Tanzania, which is over, if I'm not mistaken, 1,000 kilometers long. So that's an impressive project. So there are many all across Uganda and Rwanda and Kenya. But one of the topics that were mentioned in Collins' presentation very briefly was the healthcare. And I know that there are quite many actually small companies that I know interested in the sector of healthcare. And this question is not only for Uganda, but also for Kenya and Rwanda, since the populations of all these countries are growing. What could be the needs in the healthcare sector? And perhaps if there are any incentives in here. Thank you.
Colin, do you want to go first, then I come
in? I could talk about the needs, then I think you talk about the incentives.
Okay.
Yes, as I mentioned in my presentation, one, I talked about the need for diagnostics. That is quite a sector which is not yet so much explored. We have some specialized hospitals, but they're not targeting most of the issues of diagnosis. You look at most of the Ugandans, they always go to Kenya, sorry for that, for medical tourism, I should say. But if we have some who can come and look at the specialized treatment, some of the special diseases, I think that would be it. I will not specify the special diseases because I don't have enough information for now, but I think my colleague can speak about the incentives. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Colin. Yeah, just to maybe go back a bit about, of course, the incentives, especially, let me say, after COVID, it really shook the health sector, but it was an opening for us on how we really have to get innovative and have to manufacture and process all these drugs and vaccines. So one key sector that has really taken up is the pharmaceutical and drug manufacturing sector, that is production of human parental drugs and vaccines. That is a very critical need right now. And then, of course, as Colin has said, diagnostic material and equipment. And then, of course, assembling of medical equipment is also a sector. But I want to go to the herbal medicinals. That is one key sector. And we have got regulations in place to facilitate this and see how to regulate this sector because it's taking up. And a lot of investments, especially even from other countries, and interests have been expressed on how we really have herbal medicinals in place. So this is also a sector. We've just assented to, I think, an act that is as of 2024 to ensure that we have it regulated. The Narcotics Act as well, where marijuana falls in here, to see how we don't stay behind, but really adapt to the needs globally. But also, of course, the human forms of tablets, capsules, and all that, which goes under diagnostic material. The incentives, as I said, this is really plant and machinery. So whatever is into processing, now this is under manufacturing. And as I guided, exemptions come on plant and machinery, where import duty is exempt on the equipment that is coming through. And then also to encourage production of these medicines, whatever medicine is being produced by the manufacturers, we've put in place tariffs on importation of such medicinals so that we encourage domestic production of these medicines. And some category of medicines have been air capped, where if we are to import it into the country, the import duties are really quite high to discourage importation so that we let the domestic market and producers thrive. And then, of course, I know there is a lot of research and development under the health sector. So that's where you get the deductible taxes, which I talked about, of 100% costs reduced, especially if you're in research and development and discovering the new different innovations along here. But also if you're exporting, that is the 10-year income tax holiday. And also this sector is really hugely, highly capital intensive. So that's why even you find most of the incentives are being tailored to such sectors that are highly capital intensive, but are also creating huge employment. And then also we have the technology transfer. So those are some of the quick incentives and processes that we are looking at to ensure that we attract investments in the health sector I can talk about.
I wanted to echo the emphasis and emphasize on the unity of purpose. In fact, it's interesting that some of the things that are being produced within East Africa, some of them we are learning here on this platform, which is very interesting. But I think we should be able to share more information freely within the East African region. Probably get together and develop a product that we can invite other potential investors to look at cross-cutting issues that we can share with the rest of the region, so that it's not just about Uganda or Tanzania or Kenya or Rwanda. It's about our region as East Africa. We have also special protocols within the East African community that can enable I thought it's also important we share that if you are producing what you're producing in Uganda to export to Kenya or to Tanzania or to Rwanda within the East African attracts a very small duty, and then therefore it's also an incentive for foreign direct investments within the region. Yeah, so we act together. Sometimes we act for individual countries. Sometimes we act for the entire region. It's important.
Always so much to learn. And based on these presentations, I can say that although each of the countries is very unique, as I know, there are also so many things in common. I think we all will agree. And not just that, also the connection that the countries have through EAC, East African Community, where if the product is produced in the East African Community, the tariffs are nullified. Also, there are united tariffs if the product is imported to one country of the East African Community. Also, through the sectors which are quite similar. But I also want to point out that since the growth of the middle class is evident in all the countries, also the other sectors which might not have been mentioned, but I see companies from the sectors participating in this webinar. Let's say I'll mention furniture, cosmetics. These are sectors which also can be of interest for the countries of East Africa. And we are very, very eager to discuss this with the companies and with our partners. And maybe at the very end, I would like to mention the upcoming activities which we have with Kenya, Rwanda, and Uganda. As the first one is hosting of the cyber security delegation from Rwanda in the second part of October in Bratislava. With SARIO, we are also organizing a business forum aimed on this. Then in December, with the Embassy of Kenya in Vienna, we are organizing a coffee event in Slovakia, which will be aimed at Slovak importers of coffee, but also Slovak producers of agricultural technology and fertilizers, who can discuss with the Kenya counterparts possibilities of cooperation. And then the next part, or the next event, will be, which was already mentioned several times, the trade mission to Uganda and Kenya, which will take place between March and April of next year. And we've been in discussions actually with RDB and with KEPSA on hosting Kenya delegations in Slovakia also next year. So we are very, very much looking forward for this. And after the trade mission to Uganda, we very much hope to also host a Ugandan delegation in Slovakia. And also, since we have some I would say legal basis of cooperation already settled with Rwanda, between Rwanda and SARIO, and Kenya and SARIO, namely KEPSA and RDB. These are main MOUs of cooperation. We hope that such could be also signed during the trade mission to Uganda. And one more thing that is on the table is a joint trade committee between Kenya and Slovakia, which we are very much hopeful to sign next year. And such trade committees can serve as an example also to our partners in Rwanda and Uganda. So that's probably some wrap up from my side.
Extend my sincere appreciation. Of course, we are just waiting for you about the trade mission. And I know when you come, we shall have to explore the areas of having an MOU with SARIO. And I know on the government side, you would like to sign an MOU with you that we can have a trade mission in Slovakia. You have a taste of our special Arabica coffee. It is very nice. The Arabica coffee, please. You should make sure to taste it. Thank you.
Just the last thing that I would like to mention is, James, at the beginning, your input on support of cooperation between the businesses, not on cooperation, not on the support of cooperation with government, but on support with cooperation with businesses. There is actually one very useful tool in Slovakia which we have, which is called a program of business partnerships, which is mentored by the Slovak official trade cooperation agency. And what this program offers is non-refundable grant for Slovak companies when they are establishing their presence in developing countries. if they find a business counterpart in the country of their aim. One of these examples, very good examples, is actually a Slovak company which is participating in this webinar. They're called H-Volt. What they are producing is EV chargers, and they used this program to set up their production facility, EV production facility in Nairobi, and this facility will be having its opening in March of the next year. So this is just one of the examples that there are, and one of the tools that we can use. But of course, precondition for using this tool is for the Slovak company to have the local partner, a reliable local partner. So this is also a call for colleagues in the agencies in Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda to help us, or to help Slovak companies finding these partners. You know, sometimes the Slovak companies can start their journey with interest in export, but many times what happens is that once they find the niche in the market, they are very much open to the investment and the production of the goods in the region. So this is something that we would like to work on with you, and would be very thankful for your support.
All right, thank you, and I appreciate that, Samuel. Yes, indeed, we will be happy to establish such partnerships. As you know, now there's a big surge for electrical vehicles, and yes, the charging systems are either not as good as they should be, or not as many as they should be. So indeed, that's a new area, but of greater interest is this partnership program, business support program, which can be very useful. And I look forward really to either meeting the companies here or in Slovak, where we can establish these partnerships. As I mentioned earlier, there's a Kenyan company, Real Sources Africa, which is being run by a group of youngsters, very young people, 29-year-old CEO with a team that he leads there, but they're doing very, very serious business there in the continent. And I see this can be one of the partnerships that we can try and encourage and see if we can support, because the EV technology is here to stay. But the discouragement or the growth is being hampered by lack of support mechanism. So if you are telling me there is an opportunity like that, I am sure we will be more than happy to establish partnerships. And when I come back to Nairobi, I'll definitely want to take this conversation further.
Can I just have one more sentence? Just to thank Valerie, James, Divan, Johanna, Collins, and Rita, and of course you colleagues at SARIO for participating in the seminar, in the webinar. I just want to state, for the sake of embassy, we are here for both sides. We are here for the Slovak businessmen, entrepreneurs trying and looking for partners, but also we are here for our partners from other countries that are interested to attract Slovak businesses. I'm just saying that it's our commitment to provide as much assistance to both sides as possible to create long-term and sustainable partnerships. So thank you again. I hope to see you in a few months' time here in Nairobi.